Hey everyone, it is Kai, and today we're going to talk about the PR problem, and we're going to find either some solutions to it, or not find any solutions to it. We're going to go through every single clan by release order and just talk about maybe the PR that they're missing, and what we can do about it. Alright, now, of course, it's been a hot topic for the last X months, because certain decks just don't function without some of these PRs that they haven't got yet, and maybe they'll get them later in like clan selection, maybe they just won't, and if not, then that's just tough luck. So we're gonna go through all the clans by release order. We're gonna start with Bermuda Triangle, and then go all the way back down to Try 3, because those are basically no point going further back, right? No point going further back. So first of all, let's get started. We have Bermuda Triangle. It has no PR so far that it needs for standard. Again, this is going to be focused more on standard, because in premium, you just got so many choices that you don't actually care. But in premium, in standard, I mean, yeah, currently Bermuda doesn't have any good PRs that it needs. All of it is just pretty much there, so it's all good. Same thing with Gold Paladins. That has no PR that it needs. It's just fully functional and tier 1 right out of the deck. Now, the first clan that we're going to meet where we're going to have problems is Angel Feather. So, as we can see here, we got Belly Meds Angel. This is pretty good because it is a swapper that allows us to get soul as well. So it does two things at once. And without this kind of lowers the consistency of the deck overall. And just overall power level of certain decks like No Seal, which consumes soul. Now, we're only going to get this in clan selection. I haven't seen it revealed unless they're going to surprise us and give it when Lightning Radiance gets released. So, unfortunately for us, that's we're going to have to wait. But there are actually some choices. We're kind of lucky with Angel Feather in both Gavriel and No Seal builds that there are choices. We have Scaling Angel, and this is a card that you're probably definitely going to be putting at least 4 of, even when you have Belly Meds Angel in your deck, because Scaling Angel just is great, alright? It gets things from the drop zone, it gets soul, it's also a great ride target in the beginning, so Scaling Angel just max that out, and then after maxing out a Scaling Angel, that's when you probably start putting Belly Meds, but because we don't have that, we can put in Syringe Lesser. It's like an old card. You put it into your soul and give 2 of your units plus 5k power. And it seems pretty lame because you're minusing 1, but if we're thinking about like a Gavriel build, this basically works because you're pretty much trying to OTK your opponent anyway. In something like a No Seal, this is also not bad because it enables your aggressive play as well. It gives 2 of your cards an extra 5k power, which combined with your Happy Bell No Shields on your like grade 3 ride or your first grade 3 ride, you can really push a lot of damage early and put on a lot of pressure. So it's actually not as bad as what some other clans will have to deal with, right? And one of the other clans that we'll probably have to deal with is Genesis. Now, Genesis, this card is amazing. White Brush Witch Arctic. Basically, it's all on that first effect, right? The first effect is that when it's placed, you may put the top 2 cards from the top of your deck. Well, you may look at the top 2 cards of the deck, put one of them among them into your soul, and put the one card among them on top of your deck. So you're basically checking what the top card of your deck is, and then you can fill if they're like both triggers and tough luck. But if you're playing the Himiko build where this card is like good in, right? If you're playing Astral Poet, doesn't matter as much. But in the Himiko builds, Himiko Regalia or just Regalia in general, yeah, putting a crit in your soul is not bad because that means, you know, you can crit harder, but you can stack your deck, that's good, and you win, right? Second effect, not really that important, but you can kind of get power, right? It gives power. There is no replacement for an Arctic. There are junk replacements, and yeah, so we've got like Cumin's a replacement. It's a witch as well, so if you like that witch name because you're running some like witch searchers, then sure. But in terms of what she offers to the deck, not much, except it might bounce like the Soul Blast Reducer. And then the second card you could probably play is like Calmness. Calmness is it's not the same. You kind of have a hand filter in the beginning of the game, which could be nice. And then you can Soul Charge, but apart from that, it's not the same. It's not the same. So Himiko builds, Regalia builds, Fenrir builds kind of get nerfed from not having the Arctic. It's coming out in clan selection, but Genesis does have Astral Poets that they can fall back to, which is also like a kind of a high tier deck as well. So in terms of how screwed an entire clan is, Genesis, not so much when you compare it to the other things. And then lastly, in Radiance, we have Narukami, which actually just doesn't need any PRs, so it's just all good. So that's pretty good, right? Because two of the top tier decks, I guess Gold Paladin is the top deck, and then Narukami is chilling the others in tier 2. Those two decks just don't need PRs, so that's fine, that's great. Now, we're gonna move on to the sad life, and that is Blue Storm Cavalry. And first thing is Nubatama, and we can see Tobitachi is just a really good card that you're never gonna see in English for the time being. Right? There is no replacement for this card. There is the top 7 top check, but some people run that anyway. So apart from that, yeah, there is no replacement. This one works on the rearguard circle as well. It gives your tokens power. So yeah, no replacement with Tobitachi, and this is basically I think the more important PR. But the other PR is also very good. It is Gengan, and this guy makes your first turn Shiranui's plays just work like a charm. Solves all your problems where you need an extra grade 3 in soul, because this just gives you the grade 3 into your soul. And then yeah, there's no replacement for this as well. So you're just out of luck. If you're a Nubatama player, you're out of luck, and you deserve it. You deserve it for being for all the sins you've done in G. But there is actually not a replacement, but an alternative you can run. If you're running the Mizukaze build, I think Yamato seems like a pretty good card. Now, what Yamato does is that when you place it, you may counterblast 1, and your opponent chooses a card from their hand and calls it to a rearguard circle. If you play it with Mizukaze, that means the card they can't call that grade to the Guardian Circle anymore for that turn. So that can cause issues. If they don't have grade 3s they want to call down, if they only have grade 0s or 1s or 2s, they're basically cucking themselves in a way from guarding from that ever again. The other thing is it gets, when it attacks the Vanguard, it gets 5k, which is kind of sweet. It's okay. It's a nice plus, because I think Nubatama players would have felt before how crappy their swings are. They swing like a wet noodle, which only works because your opponent has no cards in their hand. So yeah, getting just another 5k means you can hit like a wet noodle without a boost. So at least it conserves cards in your hand. Now Yamato also works with things like Jam Yo Kongo, because you jam them down to 4, and then you start making them call out their guards of Yamato to kill them. So it's interesting. I mean, the cost is kind of high, Counterblast 1 is kind of weird for this kind of effect, but you run Sakura Fubukis, so it kind of balances it out, and it's not that bad. So overall, I think this is a pretty good replacement in terms of where Nubatama is. They just feel really bad. The second one, the second clan, which is just sad life, is Act Force. Pursuit Assault is an amazing card. It's an amazing card, and they don't have it. So they're forced to, and this card draws you cards, right? Draw, pretty good. They're basically just forced to run the combination of Coral Salt, 4 Coral Salt, max it out, 4 Agius, max it out, because this rest 2, and then just 4 Dennis, and then maybe a flex slot, just throw that for anything you want to be. But yeah, you just have to run this lineup, because no Pursuit Assault. Pursuit Assault means you can cut something out. You start cutting out Agius, because Agius becomes 1, and then Pursuit Assault becomes 4, and that's how it is. But because you don't have Pursuit Assault, you have to run 4 Agius, right? Really sucks, because then usually your hand becomes massive from the Pursuit Assault, but here your hand does not. You just play lay mode, right? And then lastly, we have Great Nature with Afflated Lemur. This card is interesting. It gives Isabel decks, or just Great Nature decks in general, Soul Charge or Counter Charge capabilities. Now, Counter Charge is the big one, especially for Isabel decks, where they can really just abuse their Counter Blast really hard, and then the Counter Charge is just kind of a nice thing to have. But I would say you don't actually need to run this. You don't need to run this. This card comes into play when you're facing against heavy Gavriel scenes, where they're damage denying you like crazy. Then Isabel has trouble playing. But if you're still in just locals, or just your scene does not have a lot of angel feathers like Gavriel's, then you're fine. You actually just don't need the Lemur. You can just run normal cards. So overall, I think it's fine that Great Nature doesn't have it, but it's still good to have. It's an option. It's a good option to have. And lastly, we got Nova Grapplers. Now, Nova Grapplers is nothing really much except for Pion Mask, and this makes sure Vanguard at least hit a bit better. Nova Grappler, Vanguard usually hit badly, except for Blouse, because Blouse are cool. But Pylon Mask is not something that is really required, so this is kind of like a throw-in, but again, it's like an option kind of thing. Now, like, one thing that is going to come up a lot is that a lot of these clans that aren't in the top competitive metas, their decks haven't been figured out, so we don't really know what exactly they need, if they really need this PR or not to make it work. So when we come to like the lesser played clans, we're definitely gonna have some opinions on what is good enough, and this is definitely one of them. Pylon Mask sure is a PR, but we don't really know if you need it. You can just run anything else. Just make the deck work, guys. Let's just make the deck work. It's up to you, right? You could be the one that makes Nova Grapplers work. All right, the next one we have is, it's a Walgan. This makes Claret work. This is the Shadow Paladin PR that they're really missing out on. Sorry to say, guys, there is no replacement for this card, because it's very hard to find a card that says this card counts as 7 grade 1s when it's bound by Claret Sword. This card just basically makes Claret Sword work. But I will tell you something. Shadow Paladin has the most amount of playable decks possible, right? At the moment, until Bermuda comes out, right? Well, it's got Mordred, it's got PBO, and it's got Luard, yeah? 3 playable decks, 3 flavors of the metagame. And if you do want to count Claret, there is also Claret, it's just not very good. But again, you've got 3 other decks you can play, so here's my suggestion. Go play those. It's not a great tip, but this is reality. We've got to deal with the cards that are dealt. If they give you lemons, then go make a lemon tree or something. I don't know, right? Just Claret is not for you. Shadows have a lot of options, and that's that. Next we have is Tachikaze. I'm not even going to change the screen because, like their regular support, the PR support for Tachikaze is absolutely horrible. Okay, it's garbage. So lucky for you, Tachikaze players, you don't need to worry about getting a PR or not. But your support so far has been not very good. It's been not very good. So that's the bad times. Next is Spike Brothers. Spike Brothers, people are talking about it, but you don't need it. You don't need it. Like, they added a cost to the effect. When they first showed the Spike Brother PR, they didn't have a cost, but now they do. So just run your normal lineup. All good. And Mega Colony, we have like Stealth Millipede. This is already out, but it's like, I think it's like $40. You don't even play this in the deck. You don't even play this in Ghidorah at the moment. So yeah, you don't need it. Just save your money. Wait for clan selection so you don't have to spend $40 for it. Next we have is Grand Blue. We're going back to Butterfly to Moonlight. No PRs. No PRs. I mean, some people have been talking about Samurai Spirit, but not relevant in Standard at the moment. Pale Moon, again, nothing as well. I think we still haven't gotten Peekaboo, right? But right now, Peekaboo is not really relevant too. Dark Irregulars has an interesting card. It's Phantasma Executor. Now, this card is more a premium card. I don't really see you needing this card in Standard at all. So, but in Premium, this card is actually really good. And if you don't like Premium, then tough luck. But we're getting this in Clan Selection, so not really much to talk about. And then lastly for Butterfly, we've got Ario. Now, Ario was played in Murakumo because, at least in Yasuie builds, because the grade 2 lineup sucks. The grade 2 lineup sucks. So this one, it gets you another one of these, and it gets 10k, so that's pretty good. That's good enough for me. But now, they unrestricted Shiryuki, and you can just run Shiryuki. You can run the Shiryuki engine. Jikotsu Girl, just run that. And this kind of becomes an afterthought. You can just kind of skip it. And I would say that the Jikotsu Girl engine, the Shiryuki engine, is just like a superior version of this card, so don't need Ario in my opinion. But, I mean, probably when more deck lists come out, when people figure out the format mode, I'll probably have to eat my words again, right? When people just run this card. But this is coming out in Clan Selection, so you don't have to wait that long, or you have to wait for a while. Depends when it comes out. And depends if you can wait. Now we're moving into the Silver Dust era. Kagero has like a Burn Rise Dragon. Now this is already out in English. I don't even know how expensive it is. You don't really need it for the deck in my opinion. It's coming out in Clan Selection as well, so don't waste too much money on it. But one card that we have to really cry about is Link Joker. And I am a Link Joker fan. I feel bad for everyone too. This deck basically is the basis for any Messiah revival, and it's not coming out anywhere. It's not coming out anywhere. It's a replacement for the grade 3 order. When placed, you may put a card from your hand onto the rearguard circle as a lock card. So free Volko, right? Draw a card. Counterblast 1, unlock one of your lock cards if you unlocked a card soul charge 1. So fixes your soul issue, fixes your problems where you don't get 5 attacks, so you have to lock something via besides fixing you don't have the order, and then just doesn't even have to hit or anything. Just place it on the Vanguard circle and bam, free lock card. So yeah, we don't get this. We so far we're not getting. Maybe they'll surprise us, but it's not even coming out of clan selection, so feels bad, Link Jerker boys. Twin Order is the Dimension Police card. This is already out as well in English, but it's $40. $40 for a Twin Order. I don't know, that feels like a very low value investment. If you want to play Dimension Police right now, I think the best build is Wombo Combo, Miracle Buildy builds, where you just do multiple attacks with Force 2s, and yeah, I think that's the best build for Dimension Police. You don't need Twin Orders. Overall, the deck is very cheap. You just need Brad Blacks and Great Dayushas, so maybe it's actually not that cheap. But yeah, I think that build is pretty good, and it doesn't need Twin Order. That's the most important part. If you have to get Twin Orders, it is coming out in clan selection, so just wait for that one. And then lastly, you've got Oracle Think Tank. They had Battle Sister Casada. Now, I know when Silver Dust came out, and that was long time ago. It was like like 3 months, 4 months ago. We were going, wow, is this card going to come out? I really want to play Oracle Think Tank, and I really want this card because it's just great, just overall pressure. Now this card never did come out, but it is coming out in clan selection. But there's actually a decent replacement for it, and that is called Offset Angel. Now, Offset Angel kind of does not really. It doesn't really do the same thing, but it offers you an alternative that's actually very good. You rest your unit, look at the top card of your deck, you can put it to top or bottom, and then reveal it. And if the reveal card is a normal unit, you get one of your units in the same column, and as this unit gets plus 10k until the end of the turn. So it just gets power. But if it's a crit, then you just leave it on top and just crit, right? Or you just use the use Sano's effect and just trigger it anyway, and then just trigger more crits. So this card is actually pretty good. I personally think it's a decent replacement. And if you're playing OTT, or if you're still playing OTT, I don't know why. It's this is a lot more better protected. Offset Angel is a good choice. And then lastly, we're gonna move on to the Tri-3 era. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Tri-3 era. If you're playing Neo Nectar, you're doing it wrong. Don't even bother with the PR, right? I think in clan selection, they're just giving you new cards anyway. They give you new archetypes. So personally, yeah, Neo Nectar is just probably one of the worst decks at the moment in Standard, and not having your PR is not going to make your deck better. That's just it. That's the hard truth. But Royal Paladin Ultimate does have a really good PR. It's called Edith. And unfortunately, there is no replacement for this card either, because this is similar to the Nubatama one, right? It accelerates your grade 3 into the soul, and then it kind of it bounces it back to your hand. So it's like it's just not replaceable. It's not replaceable. Nothing else fulfills the same thing. If you're whatever Ultimal deck you're playing right now, just stick to it. But again, Royal Paladin does have quite a lot of choices. You have Sanctuary Guard, which is coming out I think in January, right? You also right now have MLB, which is not a tier 1 deck, but Royal Paladin is not a tier 1 deck at the moment anyway, right? Ultimal, arguably, I mean, some people just love Ultimal, right? They just love Ultimal. They say it's better than MLB. They're probably around the same, or Ultimal is slightly worse in my opinion. So overall, yeah, but Royal Paladin in general is nothing anywhere in the meta at the moment. So having Edith is not really going to change it. And then lastly, we have Gear Chronicle. And everyone knows about the Gear Chronicle problem. That is Ribble. We won't get this until clan selection. And this basically just solves all your problems, enables multi-attacks, puts stuff back into the deck that you need. And yeah, gives you hand, actually. So it's a +1. So no, there is no replacement for this right now. You just have to run Quickie Worker. That card replaces Quickie Worker because it's less soul requirement, multi-attacks. Quickie Worker doesn't give you multi-attack. So yeah, when Gear Chronicle gets this card, they actually become a good deck, but because they don't, they're just kind of just middling around nowhere. So those are that is all the clans. I've just mentioned all the clans. Let's break down some raw data, right? So overall in the PRs, when you look at this, there are 13 PRs that we are currently missing from all the clans that we actually need. And that's including things like Nova Grappler, you know, do we really need it or not? I don't know. We can probably cut that down. 9 PRs where you're forced to run not a good copy, right? 9 of those PRs you're forced to run like a less good version, which is kind of annoying. But we can break that down even more. So only 6 of those PRs actually impact the competitive landscape in English. And those PRs are Angel Feather, Genesis, Nubatama, Aquaforce, Great Nature, and Gear Chronicle. By not having their PRs, they basically have some sort of nerf applied to them or actually just drop down a tier. But again, these effects don't apply to everything. Like a Genesis, we don't know the effect yet on that. Angel Feather, they actually have an okay replacement that might not drop them out from tier 2. But out of those 6, right, these Nubatama, Aquaforce, and Gear Chronicle are the most effective, and they basically lose tier spots for not having their PR. Gear Chronicle is not a competitive clan in English at the moment, in my opinion. Nubatama, probably not. And then Aquaforce, you know, Prosciutto Soul is just that good. Aquaforce is ranked like tier 2 in Japanese format alongside everything else. You know, above it is like probably like Murakumo or Gold Paladin is basically what people have been saying. But yet simply because they have Prosciutto Soul. By not having Prosciutto Soul, I don't think they're tier 2 at all. So those 3 clans are the most affected by this. Genesis kind of, but yeah, they have Astro Poets, so not really not really. They have alternatives, right? But those 3 clans are the worst. And unfortunately, I have to say, right, in English, why we're getting so much outrage is, sure, yes, there's a lot of PRs that are missing, and they definitely shouldn't have been PRs, but these 3 clans are also very, very popular clans. Gear Chronicle is a big popular. Everyone loves Gear Chronicle, right? I can't think of anyone who hates Gear Chronicle. Even during Time Leap era, people hated Gear Chronicle, but they also loved it. Nubatama, same thing. They hate Dominate rulings, but they love Dominate because it's just a cool mechanic, right? And now we don't have Dominate, but you know, Nubatama is still sticking around. It's the cooler ninja clan. Even though Murakumo is just always top now in V, but you know, Nubatama has always been the cooler clan, so just saying that. And then Aquaforce, English does have a really big obsession of Aquaforce. Probably because they never experienced the Crossrite era, where people sat on 13Ks that long, and then when Aquaforce got released, just didn't do anything. But I think Aquaforce, yeah, these 3 clans are actually pretty popular in English, and we definitely feel really bad when your popular clan or your favorite clan is just, it's missing something that is making them really, really good. Really, really good, right? So let me know what you guys think. Do you think my comments on these PRs are correct? If there are better alternatives, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.